What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Easy Paradox, back at with another day of picks. It's another week of NCAA football, and we have some great games coming at you this weekend, starting with probably one of the biggest games of the week. Two undefeateds, Penn State, Ohio State. This is going to decide who's going to the Big Ten championship game. Pretty much decides it all. This is the deciding factor. If you're going to the BTN champion and the NCAA championship as well. You know, if you lose this, you're probably not going. Maybe you can afford the 1-1 against Michigan as Penn State, but I don't think so. I think Penn State needs to win out if they really want to win. And I have the biggest upset of the weekend. Penn State's going to upset number 3 Ohio State. Ohio State might have a pretty decent quarterback for the most part against bad teams, but he didn't perform that well against a ranked opponent, as we remember Notre Dame. And Penn State just has too much going for it. They have a really good running back, really good quarterback. Quarterback has yet to throw an interception this season. Running back is going off phenomenal. They have a very powerful defense, but I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be 28-24. Right coming out the gate at noon Eastern this weekend. Next noon game is going to be a slow game. It's going to be Oklahoma versus UCF, and Oklahoma is just going to dominate. The UCF is not good this year. They haven't been good in a while. The dream of the 12-0, we can beat Bama. UCF is done with. Haven't seen that in years. So yeah, it's gonna be easily to cover the spread there. I'm not sure about the over and under. Just depends on how many points Oklahoma wants to score on Saturday. The next, I can't believe we're going to be talking about the Air Force Navy game. Air Force is ranked, so we are going to talk about their games. So Air Force, I have winning 42-21. Air Force has been blowing teams out. Air Force is a really good team this year. The only problem is they don't play anybody that's good either. They just keep playing in their conference, and doing so won't get you in the conference championship discussion, especially this year when there's so many good teams, so many good, all 5 conferences are really good. There's only 4 spots, so if you try to throw a group of 5 in there, that group of 5 team better have been really good. Like Cincinnati that one year, they were undefeated, but they beat Notre Dame. And then they also had help from all the other conferences. They were beating each other up. They had like 1-2 lost conference champions, and Notre Dame was 5. And Notre Dame's not even in a conference. Like, you got to think, like, they were like set up perfectly. Perfect situation. Air Force, even if they were to go 12-0, I don't even know if they have a conference championship. They'll get in a nice bowl game, but they won't get anything more than that. They'll be lucky to break top 15, maybe even top 20 based on their schedule. There's a lot of good teams that are X2 right now that I would say is better than Air Force. Moving on to the 3:30 game, Oregon versus Washington State. I have Oregon just dogging Washington State. I gave Washington a little benefit of the doubt. They're not going to get blown out with 50 points, but I do think Washington State's not going to be very good. They might try to hold in there for the first quarter to second quarter, but then Oregon's just going to take off, and they're going to win by at least 20 points. They're going to cover the spread easily. I'm not sure about the 60-point spread. Washington State did only score 6 points against Arizona, and Oregon is just a superior team to Arizona. So if Arizona can hold Washington State to under 10, I think Oregon can hold them to 2 touchdowns, maybe even less. Another 3:30 game that I was going to have an upset. I was going to have Tennessee beat Alabama, but I was looking at the stats, I was looking at everything, and I just don't see it. Tennessee hasn't shown any promise, and Alabama they're struggling. They're all these close games, but I think Alabama is still an overall better team than Tennessee. Like, I could see Tennessee upsetting Alabama, but I get a little pick hungry with the wish list, so I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna have Alabama beat Tennessee, because I have other upsets on the way this season. I have another video coming up that can help explain some of the conference championships, maybe some predictions. Please like and subscribe if you want to see that. And yeah, I don't have Tennessee winning this. I have them losing again. The next 3:30 matchup is Missouri, South Carolina. I have Missouri dogging South Carolina. But the only reason that South Carolina has so many points is because Missouri struggles on defense a little bit. But Missouri's going to be in a confident position throughout the entire game. It's going to almost feel like Missouri is just dragging them along for the ride, because Missouri is just a better team overall than South Carolina, but Missouri has a problem with like letting other teams keep scoring, even though like Missouri's like up big. So I think Missouri is gonna win this wholeheartedly with ease. Next 3:30 game, I didn't think I was gonna talk about Tulane yet again. Tulane's back in the ranks. Just imagine if Tulane did not lose to Ole Miss. I think they would be even higher ranked than this. They are playing North Texas this week. North Texas isn't good, but then again, we're talking about two teams that are in pretty poor, pish-posh conferences. I will say that Tulane is a better team in the American Conference than North Texas, so I will have Tulane winning by. I will have Tulane dominating this game. I'm not sure if they'll cover the 20. Tulane hasn't proven that they can score that many points this year. They haven't scored over 40 points this year at all. So I'm going to have Tulane just under 40, about 31 points, maybe 35. But even then, I still don't see them covering the entire spread. Unless they get to 35, they can cover that 20. But this would be a bet that I wouldn't take. It's just too risky. The next 3:30 game is where I'll be at, is the Iowa-Minnesota game. It's going to be boring. It's going to be slow. It's going to be Iowa football. Iowa's going to win it easily, 13-6. I know that sounds awful, but Iowa is going to be a defensive battle on all fronts. Iowa doesn't really have much offense, so I don't expect them to score a lot of points, and I don't expect Minnesota to score a lot of points because Iowa's just going to keep running the ball, just keep running it down, and then they're going to punt the ball and put it in the 5 defense. You know the same old story, run it back, and I think Iowa's going to pretty much win out this season because the rest of their schedule is pretty mid. Their hardest game was Penn State and Wisconsin, and they went 1-on-1 on those. So I think we'll see Iowa in the Big Ten championship game this year. The next 4:00 game will be Texas versus Houston. Houston's another one of those Group of 5 teams that just didn't quite make it in the Big 5. So I think Texas is going to go 56-10. It's going to be an easy game. You could really take that 56 and just say any number, like any number higher than 40. And Houston probably going to get some garbage time points. Texas is going to commandingly win this game. If it's even close, I'll be very, very shocked. Texas is a way better program, way better team than Houston. Next game is another one of those games where I was kind of interested in the -3.5 on why Virginia, the team that is like one of the worst in the ACC, is -3.5 against UNC. When North Carolina has shown that they could play on the highest level against ranked opponents and win commandedly, UNC is going to win pretty wholeheartedly. They're at home. They're against a pretty bad Virginia team, and they're coming in with an undefeated record in the top 10 for the first time in a long time. So I don't think they're going to mess around with this. I think they're going to dominate this game. I only did 35 points because I was being generous to Virginia because UNC doesn't really score that many points. But Virginia getting 13 is like a touchdown and 2 field goals. So, yeah, I have UNC winning this pretty hardly. I think it's disrespectful, the -3.5. But I could be wrong. I said the same thing about Louisville against Pitt, and Pitt came out and just destroyed. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but I still feel like UNC is a way better team. The next late night game we have is the 7:00 game with Ole Miss and Auburn. Ole Miss is coming off a bye week, and they're going to be playing against a pretty good Auburn team. Auburn's really good at playing at home. I know they lost really bad to LSU, but I still think that Auburn can hang with the best of them. As you saw against Georgia, Auburn did try to hold in there for as long as they could, but Ole Miss isn't Georgia. Ole Miss isn't LSU, and I think Auburn's going to hold in there, but I still think Ole Miss is going to come out on top. It's going to be a one-score battle. I think the -6 is a pretty good number. I think that Ole Miss could cover. I think it's going to be a one score. I have it 4 points, but I could easily see Ole Miss winning by a touchdown, maybe 10 points late in the game, another extra point in there. But I don't think they're going to cover the 56.5. I think that's under. The next primetime game, this could have been a great one if Michigan State was really good or good at all in any capacity. But I think it's going to be 45-10. Just like earlier I said, this number, 45, could literally be anything. Michigan's been blowing teams out of the water. They haven't really played anybody good. They're 2 in the nation, just going 50-plus points on their opponents. It's not their fault that the teams they're playing aren't very good. It's just that it so happens that they don't have any good non-conference games to really back up their record. It's going to be an easy spread. -24, I can see it covering so easy. Next 7:30 game is going to be Florida State, Duke. This is the next big primetime game. just like the Penn State Ohio State game, this is going to be a clutch moment for Florida State to prove that they deserve to be fourth in the nation. And Duke is another one of those sleeper teams with one loss, and they could come out with fire. And I have Florida State winning by only a field goal. I know the spread says minus 13.5, but they're not giving Duke enough credit for what the credit is worth. And I think that Duke could have a chance to upset Florida State and then create a scenario where there's multiple one-loss teams ready for the ACC championship. There's no room for error. Like, Florida State and UNC has to win out, or Louisville will have a chance at the tiebreaker, because Louisville doesn't play Florida State or North Carolina. So if Louisville just wins out, then there's a chance that they could tiebreaker with one of these teams if they lose. And we don't want to see what that tiebreaker is going to be like. I do have Florida State winning this just barely by a field goal because, you know, Boston College, of course. The next 7:30 game is going to be another slow game. When I say slow, I just mean a blowout. LSU is going to win 49-3 against Army. LSU is at that minus 30. I think that's easily going to be covered. Like I said, 49 could be any number. It's literally unlimited points, as long as the coach keeps scoring. The next really late night game is going to be 8 o'clock. It's going to be another one of those games where this is a deciding Big 12 matchup, and not necessarily for the championship, the national title, because both these teams have one loss, and they have to go through Washington, and Washington is definitely the better team. But Utah hasn't really proved anything, but USC has shown that they have cracks in their offense. I know I praised their offense for a couple weeks now, and on Saturday, we saw that USC's offensive line just crumbled, and then they just had nothing going for them, and their defense was bad, so Notre Dame just kept running it up. So I think Utah has a chance here to prove the haters wrong and say we can beat ranked teams. And then Utah is going to win just by a field goal, 27-24. I think it's going to be in the 20s. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring because USC, unless their offense shapes up, I don't think they're going to be able to score 40-plus points on this Utah defense. And then Utah offense is just going to run over USC's defense for the most part. And it's going to be a really close, low-scoring game. The late night games where most of you guys are probably going to be sleeping or have already turned the channel from sports in general. It's going to be Washington versus ASU. And I think it's going to be, this 46 can literally be anything. Anything higher than 42 points. ASU is not very good this year. They're not going to a bowl game. And even if they were, they already opted out of it. So they have no fire. All their good teammates have transferred out. And I think ASU is just one of those teams where, like, they're going to score 1-2 touchdowns maybe at the beginning, really get this crowd hyped up, and then just kind of fall off. So I think Washington's going to easily win this late night game. The next late night game is going to be in California, the 10:30. It's going to easily UCLA is going to win 35-7. It's another one of those games like the previous with ASU. Stanford is terrible this year. They haven't been good in years, and UCLA is just coming off of a loss, and they want to keep that rank, and they don't want to go back down. And they have a really good QB. He's kind of inexperienced, as we saw against Oregon State, but he has seen the adversity, and he's going to go in there and just dominate. 35-7. That 35 could be higher. I don't think Stanford's going to hold them any lower. Maybe Stanford scores 2 scores, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think UCLA is just going to keep scoring and scoring and scoring, but that's just how it's going to be. And then that's going to be it for this video. I hope all of you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you guys really enjoy the football. And please like and subscribe for more content. I have more content coming out almost daily, so please like this video. Please like more videos. It really helps the channel grow and helps the channel out. It helps me have more motivation to keep making these kind of videos for you guys. And that's going to be it. Peace.